Welcome to Talking Eagles with the Cover 2. I'm your host, Glenn Irby. Today we have the man that everybody's been buzzing about since his pro day workout at UTSA. We have one kicker, superstar athlete, Jaffer Murphy. Jaffer, welcome to the show, man.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Take me back to that pro day when you hit the 70-yard field goal, you ran a 4.5 40. Did you know in that moment that it would be a life-changing moment for you?
Waking up that morning, said a prayer to God and said, Lord, this is a day that I'm ready, that you prepared me for these last 2.5 months, and I'm ready to just go out there and be relaxed and have peace knowing that, the story's already written. So when I went out there, I wasn't fearful, but joyful to have fun and just compete. But after running the 4.5, felt good. And then later on kicking and hitting that 70, it's been done before in my training, but to do that in front of scouts, to do that in front of a pressurized moment was pretty huge. So I was really grateful for that.
What's been the craziest, message or reaction you've gotten since that viral moment over the last 5 or 6 days?
I think the craziest one for me was when the NFL posted me on their Instagram page. I was actually playing a game. I was playing a game with my best friend, and I said, "What if the NFL posted me? I think that'd be crazy." And the very next morning, by like 9 o'clock, I got a notification, and I was just again, it was shocking, but again, a blessed moment. Really grateful for it.
Love to hear. You were born in Liberia, came to the U.S. in 2006. What do you remember about that transition and how it shaped, what you are and who you are today?
Yeah, that transition for sure was new. Coming to a new country, not knowing too much. My parents, both Maya and Sean, they did an excellent job in just helping me adapt, preparing me, but also giving me the opportunity to begin my sports journey, which started with soccer, and then eventually turned into basketball and football. But just having that opportunity to ease my way into a new lifestyle, I think that was probably the best thing that could happen for me. And to be where I'm at right now, all glory to God. And then obviously just really thankful for my parents.
Sticking to that point, a lot of kids don't do that now, but you played multiple sports growing up, soccer, basketball. At what point did you realize you were a different kind of athlete or a special athlete, if I might say?
I think it was when I first started playing basketball because all I knew and grew up with was soccer. And so it was either the sixth or seventh grade when I started playing basketball. And coaches were telling me that this is something that, I could pursue at a high school level. And so when I got to high school playing that and just hearing different comments or different things like this or different things like that, like, oh, you like jump out of the gym or you're pretty quick, you're pretty fast. And just like having that, those comments made me think, maybe there's a lot more I can give to just other sports. And so stepping into the football realm my junior, senior year, that was something too that I was just like, wow, I was blessed to be able to do that and be invited to kick for the team. But taking soccer to the furthest level first was what I wanted to do before switching to football.
You were good enough at soccer to get a scholarship to college. What made you take the risk of switching to football so late? I mean, some athletes do it, a lot of basketball players do it. What allowed you to feel comfortable and confident in doing that at such a late point in your life?
I think what allowed me to feel confident in that in such a late point in my life is trusting God and just trusting his outcome for my life. So my identity is not and wasn't in soccer. It was God gave me the ability to play that. So leaving that didn't mean I left God. It meant I stepped away from a closed door and into an open door that he allowed for me. And I've been blessed ever since.
That's definitely words of wisdom. You started at Erie College. You hit a 60-yard field goal there. When did you realize you might have an NFL leg or you might have an opportunity to eventually get to that next level?
I think training with Jacob Ends during my Florida living experience when I played soccer down there. When I trained with him, I had gotten back to 60 yards. The furthest we've gotten back was 71, but it was around that time where I was like, I have a pretty strong leg, and I think I can take this to the highest level in college. And that was never end goal, but it was a stepping stone to my journey because now obviously I want to take it to the highest level and play in the NFL.
You get the opportunity, you get to spend some time in North Carolina. You had a conversation with Bill Belichick, and you had to make a tough decision. What was that conversation like, and what did you take from that conversation?
That conversation going into it, I was very excited to sit down one-on-one with him. An amazing coach, amazing journey that he had in his life. But that conversation right away struck me pretty hard when he told me we can't continue with you at the 105 rule and the college rules changing. And at first, I didn't know what that meant. But the more he talked and just like, hey, you know what, like look to get in the portal, look to also train with these coaches because he said, "You have potential. I know you were a soccer player, changed to a football kicker. There's work to be done still." And so I just took that as words of wisdom of just, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. I'm not allowing this no or this stop in my life to change anything because I've dealt with loss. I've dealt with changes growing up. So when that happens, I just continue to go and not give up.
I can only imagine he regrets that decision now.
You know what? I think his decision back then was what was best for the program. And, like I said, when God closes one door,
Speaking of that next door, you drive 20 plus hours to UTSA. What was that like, and what was going through your mind as you made that trip and you made another adjustment?
really grateful for UTSA to call me right after I got into the portal. And when I made that decision to just drive instead of fly for my official visit, in my head, it was just, I want to bet on myself. God's already written my story. So there's nothing to fear. So driving those long 20 hours, all I could think of was, I need to go and be successful there. I need to perform and I need just an opportunity to be seen. And from there, God's got the rest.
You get to UTSA, you didn't win the place kicking job automatically, but you still had an impact on kickoffs and on special teams. How did you stay locked in mentally while continuing to improve and evolve?
Definitely was excited to become their kickoff specialist. Disappointed as an individual, that I didn't earn the job, but all props to Mike Petro. Great kicker, great individual. And so being able to just train and kick consistently during practices or just on my own when no practices was happening, when no one's watching, building my confidence and building my, trust in my own attributes could only grow and develop into what was able to be shown at Pro Day.
Not many kickers, not many guys, period, run a 4.5 40. How much does your soccer background play into your power, your athleticism, you think?
I think it plays almost 100% into everything that I've done, everything that I've been able to do. Being fast in soccer is needed, being strong in soccer is needed, and being explosive while playing that sport because that sport is very reactive as well as just consistently being ready. And so being able to take off at a moment's notice and beat a defender to the ball needs to happen. So having that athleticism, again, gift from God, is so important while playing football and in the kicking position that I am in.
So you hit the 70 yarder at the pro day. Have you done that before? And what's the furthest you've ever kicked the ball in football?
So prior to Pro Day, I had actually hit my very first 70-yard field goal back in 2024. It was the second time training with my coach ever. And so knowing that I had that range meant in my head that everything underneath that just needed to be perfect and needed to be refined into just being consistent. And so while training in Tampa, spring 2026, I had gotten back to 65 yards with my coach consistently and been able to kick from that range. And so when Pro Day arrived, there was not a fear of, I've never done this before, but more of a security knowing that it's been done and I'm about to do it again.
You, from my understanding, I believe you did drills as a defensive back too. How did that go? And could you see yourself in terms of wanting to make the transition to the NFL, potentially finding yourself a spot? Would you feel comfortable backpedaling? Would you feel comfortable as a defensive back, corner, or safety?
At first, I was nervous, but when a scout asks you to do something, you don't shy away from an opportunity. So I accepted and said, you know what? I've never done this, but I'm going to go out there and be an athlete. And so backpedaling felt good. Catching the football, I didn't drop a single ball, so that felt really, really good. But, making that transition to the NFL with the first position being a kicker, and if they need me in an emergency situation or need me to jump into another position, I'm more than willing to learn and understand ball because I am a ball player. I am an athlete, and God just blessed me with the ability to kick.
You've had an amazing journey. What is the message, or what would you like NFL teams to know about that journey, that process, and where you are at this point with a month left before the draft and all those things that take place?
I think the biggest thing I would want them to know is that from my humble beginnings of a third world country to America, I have not stopped betting on myself. I have not stopped working hard. And with my driven mindset, my faith based background, there is an unlimited amount of things that, if I put my mind to it, I believe I can accomplish it. So a team that takes a chance on me, forever blessed, forever grateful. And I'm ready to step into that environment and give you everything that I've got and plus.
Some of your answers to that last question lead into my next question. Plenty of kids around are watching your story. Plenty of kids in Texas, different places are going to see your story, especially those coming from a different background. What do you want them to know about you? What you want them to know and about believing in yourself and taking that leap of faith?
I think the biggest thing I want to share with the younger generation is it's okay to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortability builds character, it builds strength, and you really develop a mindset that is just a never give up mindset, never give in. And if my story can inspire you to work hard every single day, trusting that, God's got you covered, whatever that may look like, just don't give up and believe that it can be done. And so I just want my story to inspire those and just let them know that anything's possible.
Is there a kicker you've had in your game after, or you maybe take tips from, or enjoy watching?
I think obviously growing up into the soccer realm of things, there was not a lot of kickers that I watched. But after switching over, I started hearing about the Brandon Aubreys. I started hearing about the Justin Tuckers, and seeing them and seeing what they could do. It gave me hope to obviously the Brandon Aubrey story. He was a soccer player, so it gave me hope to understand this is something that I could definitely do and definitely compete for. Modeling game after wise, I think is every kicker is different, has their own specific and special way they do their thing. So creating my own to either be replicated by a younger generation or just creating my own to what works with me is the best way I can go about it.
Can you give us one thing about you people don't know that you would like the public and these growing eyes and this newfound attention? What would you like people to know about you?
I think I could just go with my name is Jaffer Murphy and I have a story to share with the world. And I'm grateful for you paying attention and watching me. So thank you.
I can dig it. Final question. It's less than a month to the draft. We understand draft, undrafted free agency, things like that. What's next for you over the next month or so as you, I guess, wind this process down and get ready for the next step?
Next steps right now for me is just working out, training, kicking, keeping my body in that, top peak physical, structure and just continuing phone calls, conversations with my agent, conversations with different teams that have reached out, and just continue to pursue a mindset of I'm not finished yet. I haven't accomplished anything.
Jaffer, we appreciate you. I know you're busy, hectic schedule. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking the time. Get you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. And thank you all out there for supporting me in my journey.
Appreciate you, John.
Thank you.